Hey everyone, my name is Andrea. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. I am back for another BTS reaction. The last time you saw me, I reacted to Taylor Marie's guide to BTS, and a lot of you dropped recommendations to react to some of the material by X Celeste, another fellow YouTuber. And so I will be reacting to two of her guides today. The first guide is This is BTS, which I assume is an introduction to the band. The other guide is called This is BTS ARMY, so I assume that is an introduction to the ARMY, who is the BTS fans, or who are the BTS fans. So I will begin my journey by reacting to This is BTS. But before I start, if you're enjoying this content, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I also have a Patreon where you can catch all of our full unedited reactions well in advance of the YouTube uploads. And I want to take a moment and give a shout out of appreciation to all the wonderful patrons that have already subscribed. Thank you so much. Okay.
How many of you have heard of BTS?
Who is BTS and why are they so popular? BTS is a 7-member group from South Korea. While the words boy band are often associated with the image of screaming teen girls, that is far from reality. First, there's nothing wrong with being a young person showing love for something you enjoy. But what if I told you about 24% are in their 20s, 28% are in their 30s, and 21% are in their 40s. Take a closer look at this age and gender demographic for BTS's 2020 Map of the Soul.
So I'm just going to pause here and make a comment. One thing they're pointing out about BTS is that a lot of the fans are not just young fans, like in their teens and 20s, but a lot of the fans are in their 40s, 50s, and even older. A lot of you have introduced yourselves to me, sharing your age and your name and where you're from. So I find it really interesting how BTS has fans from such a wide demographic background.
Sold ticket sales. Females ages 25 and up made 46% of web traffic, and 31% were males. BTS's fans, named ARMY, will often tell you BTS is not your typical boy band.
So another thing I want to point out is that in my very first BTS reaction, I compared BTS to some of the Western boy bands that I grew up with, like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. And then a lot of you said that there were, significant differences between those types of groups or bands and BTS. And I'm starting to find that out, so I'm just curious to see what she'll say here.
And why? To get a better understanding, let us go back to the beginning. BTS was created by Big Hit Entertainment, whose mission statement is music and artist for healing. The company, and namely their CEO, Bang Si-hyuk, wanted BTS to be sincere and genuine figures that people could easily relate to and grow with. Not immaculate idols groomed amid studio culture, but real boys who shared their authentic personalities and talents with the world. Which is why BTS stands for 방탄소년단, Korean for Bulletproof Boy Scouts.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Meaning to be resistant to bullets, so it means to block out stereotypes, criticism.
So I just want to pause because this is really interesting. I didn't know the origin of the initials BTS, so I'm just gonna pause on this for a moment. Block out stereotypes, criticisms, and expectations that are aimed at adolescents. Okay, so let's see what she says here.
And expectations that are aimed at adolescents like bullets, to preserve the value and ideals of today's adolescent. In 2017, BTS rebranded their name and logo representing their growth and maturity, extending the meaning to beyond the scene. The new door-inspired logo symbolizes youth who don't settle for their current reality and instead open the door and go forward to achieve growth. BTS debuted on June 12, 2013 with 7 members: RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. All 7 members came from different parts of Korea. So at first, living together in a small apartment was a challenge.
So I'm just going to pause here and make a comment that in Taylor Mary's video, or Taylor Marie, she also talked about how BTS originally lived in dorms, and especially when they were younger. And initially they weren't as popular. They started from the bottom, so to speak, and they didn't have a lot of money. So this is really interesting how there's a bit of an overlap here.
Their CEO, Bang Si-hyo, created a method for the boys whenever they got into an argument.
일단 싸워도 된다. 싸움을 두려워하기 때문에 우리 갈등이 커지는 거다라고 가리키고요. 그 다음에 마지막으로는 단 해결은 7이 같이 하는 거다.
Wow.
싸움은 둘이 해도 해결은 7명이 같이 해라.
So that's really interesting. He's saying that when he's got some really good conflict resolution advice. He's saying that whenever there's, I guess, a disagreement or a conflict between 2 members of BTS, he wants all 7 to be involved. So that's actually very good advice.
하기 너무 창피한 걸로 싸움을 해도 결국은 같이 와서 저희가 이런 문제를 갖고 둘이 싸웠는데 이렇게 해서 이렇게 해결했습니다라고 얘기를 하고, 그런 부분들이 이 팀의 친화력을 혹은 시너지를 강하게 만들고 있지 않나 이렇게 생각됩니다.
Over the years, the boys have come to love each other despite their difference in personalities, to the point where they'd feel incomplete with one member missing. They became each other's strength and support and formed a brotherhood.
뭔가 내 머릿속에는 옆에 멤버들이 있어야 뭔가 자연스러워. 그러니까 뭔가 내 핸드폰이나 지갑처럼 없으면 불안한 그런 것들이 있잖아.
Oh, he said you're like my wallet or my cell phone. That's so cute.
그냥 소중하다 못해 없으면 안 될 사람들이긴 하죠. 왜냐면은 넘어져도 저 혼자 일어나는 게 아니라 그냥 같이 일어난 거니까.
좀 생각을 해보면
I love how
이런
much
7명이
how
어떻게
supportive they are
모였을까라는
to
생각이
each other.
들어요. 이제는 오래 지냈다고 해서 될 문제는 아니에요. 어떻게 보면은 운명인 것 같아요. 되게 유치하지만 그냥 운명이었던 거예요, 이거는.
Their climb to the top may seem sudden to those who didn't follow their journey, but it was far from a walk in the park. BTS's company, Big Hit Entertainment, started off small and faced numerous hardships, even coming close to bankruptcy. Since Big Hit wasn't a large company at that time, they lacked the resources for promoting BTS. Even getting the chance to debut was a fluke. Their debut performance opportunity came about because a music show needed a filler for someone else's spot. Even after they debuted, their performances would often get cut. And if they did make it on air, their screen time was very short since Big Hit didn't have the power or influence bigger companies had over broadcasts. Since they were often not invited to a lot of big variety shows, the company found their own way to communicate with their audience through platforms such as YouTube. By vlogging their journey, they allowed us to discover their personalities. They also created their own variety shows and often live streamed with fans.
Again, I want to point out how the other BTS guide that I watched mentioned this as well. I love how they connect with their fans and how they make that almost like their own, how they use that as their point of differentiation from other performers who are maybe more distant from their fans.
They honed their crafts for hours on end, practicing in the dance studio and producing music, returning home at dawn to all sleep in one bedroom. 2 years of hard work and not knowing where they'd end up, they finally won their first music show award. Yet, as they grew in popularity, they were falsely accused of sajegi, which is when a company buys their own artist albums to boost sales for the charts. That's because people couldn't believe a group from a small company was selling well, ignoring the fact that a small company wouldn't have the resources to pull off such a scam. These were just a few of their hardships and struggles. I created a separate video highlighting their past hardships.
I'm just going to pause there because a lot of you have recommended one of the, among the several ex-Celeste recommendations was the video on BTS hardships. I won't be reacting to that in this video, but I definitely have that on the list for subsequent videos.
I'll link that in my description box. Throughout the years, BTS were able to reach impressive milestones while continuing to sing in Korean. They shattered cultural language barriers with music and attracted an international audience. They grew organically by staying true to themselves while building a genuine connection with their fans from around the world. During an era where streaming numbers have gone up and traditional album sales have gone down, BTS has become an industry anomaly. Their latest album, Map of the Soul 7, released February 21, 2020, is the best-selling physical album of the year.
Wow.
And they sold over 500,000 copies in just the United States alone. The biggest kicker? Well, BTS did this without a single bundle. And what does bundle mean? Artists would bundle merchandise or concert tickets with the album's sales. For example, a copy of an artist's album, digital or physical, would be included in every t-shirt sale or ticket sold for their concert.
Okay.
These sales would count towards charting numbers and become an industry-wide tactic in the US to help boost sales figures and
So that's really interesting. I didn't know this. I just wanted to pause and so I'm not interrupting her. I just wanted to pause and make a comment that I didn't know that. I didn't know how the bundling worked. So that was interesting to learn about.
in effect climb up the Billboard charts. In a 2019 New York Times article, they said about half the 39 titles that topped the charts last year were sold as part of ticket or merchandise bundles. Without the help of bundles and driven by the power of ARMYs alone, BTS were able to beat a lot of historic records, such as Michael Jackson's 36-year record and the Beatles' 22-year record. While these musical acts are famous around the world, Suga has said it's a great honor to be called the Beatles of the 21st century. At the same time, it's a bit pressuring to be called that. We are
I like this here. I'm just going to stop. I like what they're saying, that they don't want to be compared to other musical acts that were famous, like the Beatles or Michael Jackson or any other idols of the past. They want to be themselves, and I love that message.
BTS. We want to be the BTS of the 21st century.
I like
that. The
that.
members themselves have always been involved in their music and engaged with their fans, even before they officially debuted. From their debut album, Too Cool for School, in 2013 to their most recent Map of the Soul 7, all 7 members have contributed as either writers and or producers on every album. All of BTS are associate members of the Korea Music Copyright Association, and as of August 2020, J-Hope, Suga, and RM were all promoted to full members of the association. They even create music that's released for free on SoundCloud as gifts to their fans.
Wow, yes.
Much of their work touches on
Actually, I just wanted to stop there before she went on and say that I did learn that fact from the other guide that BTS produces their own, I guess, their own music for fans on SoundCloud for free, which is very, very good of them. That's amazing. Wow.
subjects like mental health, youth and female empowerment, child abuse, cyberbullying, self-love and development, and socio-economic injustices. Much of their work is also inspired by past writers and thinkers. Their latest series, Map of the Soul, incorporates psychological concepts by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. BTS is not afraid to use their platform to amplify underrepresented voices and issues, taking numerous risks with their career while receiving backlash from people in power. BTS are also as charitable as they are talented. Throughout the years, members have been donating individually and as a group. BTS rarely publicize donations, so fans often find out about them if media organizations uncover the details. One of BTS's few public announcements was in November 2017 for their Love Myself campaign. They partnered with UNICEF to create a campaign aimed at protecting children and teenagers from around the world, with the hope of making the world a better place through music. BTS and their company, Big Hit Entertainment, pledged 500 million Korean won and donated 3% of the income from the sales of physical albums of the Love Yourself series, along with 6 other fundraising initiatives, including the Love Myself merchandise, where 100% of its proceeds were pledged to the cause. The Love Yourself series, which contained 3 albums total, sold over 7 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
On September 24, 2018, BTS was invited to deliver a speech about the Love Myself campaign at the United Nations General Assembly. On January 15, 2020, Formula E announced their partnership with BTS to help combat climate change. On June 3, 2020, BTS tweeted their support for Black Lives Matter. A few days later,
so I just wanted to pause and point out that it's amazing the amount of charity work and community service that these guys are doing, and also how much they're donating. I mean, obviously they're very wealthy, but the fact that they're taking some of their income and donating it to charitable causes is amazing.
Variety reported that BTS and Big Hit Entertainment had donated $1 million to support the Black Lives Matter movement.
Wow.
When ARMYs got wind of the news, they matched their $1 million
donation
in one day. Now, these are just a couple of their acts of charity. With their socially conscious music, BTS created a new fandom culture that brings together fans from different national.
So I'm going to pause again and again bring up the fact that it's amazing how many people all over the world and from different demographic backgrounds are dropping comments and saying that they're welcoming me into the army and saying that they're a member of the BTS Army. It's just amazing, I guess, the demographic diversity of BTS fans, people from all over the world, all different ages, all different races, all different ethnicities. I don't know if there's another group out there that inspires such universal love.
And racial identities. This led to the emergence of bilingual army volunteers who translated BTS Korean lyrics and videos in their language almost real time, making the content immediately available to non-Korean speakers.
That's nice.
We may all speak different languages, but their music and their message connected people from around the world, with different ethnicities, background, gender, and age. BTS has also expressed their love and respect for ARMY countless of times, such as always mentioning them first during speeches, responding to fans on their social media app Weverse, showing their appreciation for ARMY projects, halting rehearsals for the Muslim prayers in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. That's very respectful.
The youngest member, Jungkook, even got the fandom name tattooed on his hand. Together with ARMY, they grew as individuals and as artists.
저는 굳이 영향력을 주는 거창한 것을 안 원하고 그냥 저희를 보는 분들이
So as long as the people watching us are happy and smiling, so all they want to do is make people happy with their music, inspire people, motivate people, fight things like sadness and depression and anxiety.
행복하고 웃을 수 있다면 그걸로.
팬이란 게 진짜 뭘까 막 이런 생각을 가끔 많이 하거든요. 결국 그 사람들 때문에 저희가 무대에 서는 거라서 그 봐주는 사람들을 위해서 노래를 하고 무대를 하는 거기 때문에 결국 우리는 그 사람들한테 진짜 감사해야 되고 무대 하나하나에 최선을 다해야 되고.
간단하게 얘기해서는 가수를 하고 있는 어떤 제일 중요한 이유인 것 같아요. 저는 뭐 방송 활동도 물론 싫지 않지만 진짜 콘서트는 그냥 제가 이 방탄소년단을 하고 있는 이유가 맞는 것 같아요.
That must be Wembley Stadium. That's huge.
참 다행히도 내가 원래 하고 싶었던 메시지 하고 싶었던 음악들을 하고 있어서 참 다행이라고 생각을 해요. 그러기 때문에 되게 그렇게 살고 있는 것 같아요. 긍정적인 에너지를 주죠.
일단 이 일을 좋아하는 거, 이 일을 사랑하고 너무 좋아하는 게 저에게 큰 영향을.
So they're saying the fact that they love what they do is what I guess what keeps them going. And a lot of us don't necessarily love the job that we do. Not everyone loves what they do for a living, but BTS does. They're genuinely in it for the music and for the fans.
주는 것 같아요. 왜냐면 이 일을 하기 싫고 실증이 나고 하면은 무대 위에서도 나타나기 때문에 이 일을 굉장히 사랑하기 때문에 내가 무대 위에서 퍼포먼스를 할 수 있고 노래를 할 수 있는 것 같아요.
계속 와서 응원해주는 모습, 그리고 이렇게 저희를 진심으로 좋아해주는 그런 표정들, 힘들 때 그런 표정들이 저에게 더 힘을 주는 것 같아서.
저희를 알아봐 주신 여러분들이라면 여러분의 꿈이 아니더라도 여러분의 삶, 여러분의 인생에 언젠가 저희의 존재가, 저희의 음악이, 저희의 무대가, 저희의 사진, 영상이 여러분한테 아주 조금이라도 아픔이 100이라면 그 100을 99, 98, 97로 만들어줄 수 있다면 그걸로 저희의 존재의 가치는 충분합니다. 정말 사랑합니다.
Oh, that's awesome. These
Their
guys
love
are amazing.
for ARMY has also helped them decide on re-signing another 7-year contract with Big Hit Entertainment. They mentioned doing it for their fans and not for money. So, while people often discredit BTS's talent, likening their popularity to superficial aspects that come with the image of a boy band, it is their development of personalities and sincerity towards their art and their fans that made their fandom the size and reach that it has become.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
hope people will come to realize that BTS is more than just their singing and their dancing skills. They're not just performers, but artists who have healed and inspired millions of people around the world. For a deeper dive into BTS, please refer to these websites, apps, and ARMY accounts to stay updated. We're also working on more video projects and a website, so stay tuned.
Okay, so it looks like that's the end of the video. That was a great reintroduction to BTS. Some of the material and covered in the video was a refresher, a review, but it also expanded on some information that I already had from the other guide that I've already reacted to, and of course from fans. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for all of the love and the support, and of course the information that you give me as well to help me continue on my BTS journey. So the next guide, speaking of fans and ARMY, the next guide I will be reacting to is This is BTS ARMY.
The BTS Army.
BTS Army.
BTS Army.
BTS Army.
BTS Army.
Who is the BTS ARMY? ARMY was officially established for BTS on July 9, 2013. The meaning of a
So it's been the BTS ARMY, or the BTS fan base, has been around for 10 years, little over 10 years now.
military army is implied, tying in with the name of BTS, which stands for Bangtansonyundan, or Korean for Bulletproof Boy Scouts. ARMY is an acronym for Adorable Representative MC for Youth, given to them in hopes that they will raise their voices and stand with BTS in support of the underrepresented values they often address in their work. ARMYs in its early conception and demographic spoke for the youth, walking alongside BTS to block out stereotypes.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop here. I think this quote or something very similar was in the last video. To block out stereotypes, criticisms, and expectations imposed on adolescents, actively working to defend and preserve the value and ideals of today's youth. So that was also in the that quote was also in the last video. So I'm just going to see how she's going to elaborate on that.
Criticisms and expectations imposed on adolescents, actively working to defend and preserve the value and ideals of today's youth. While what initially draws in new fans.
So I think this scene is from the On Manifesto, or On a Manifesto, I believe. I did react to that video a while ago. So if you check out the playlist, our playlist, you can see the reaction to that.
And maybe their talent and their catchy melodies, many grow into dedicated armies due to BTS.
Okay, so again, I just want to pause and make a comment about this. So a lot of the BTS, the members of the BTS ARMY, the fan base become fans based on, I mean, not their singing and their dancing. I mean, of course that, but there's a lot more to it. It's the values in their music. It's the charity work that they do. It's their personalities. It's mostly about who they are as human beings, of course, as well as their music. The biggest thing is who they are as people and what they stand for.
BTS's core values, missions, and social messages, which have been magnets for the diversity of the fandom. BTS is adamant on their stances against bullying, abuse, and the current socio-economic norms. They seek to empower youth and women, promoting mental health, self-love, and self-development. They have inspired many fans to better themselves and be active in fighting against social injustices. ARMY started small but passionate, much like BTS. However, one stereotype that incessantly follows the fandom is that of screaming hormonal teenage girl.
So I'm going to stop here because X Celeste's last video that I just reacted to, This is BTS, also touched on that. In that with most boy bands, what you have with most boy bands is a lot of the fans are young teenage girls, but BTS attracts, as I've learned from reacting to the guides and from you as well, is that BTS attracts such a wide range of fans from all over the world, different ages, different ethnicities.
While amazing young folks are indeed a part of ARMY, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with being a young or passionate person, statistics prove that BTS reaches far beyond its expected demographics. Take a look at this age demographic. 24% are in their 20s, 28% are in their 30s, and 25%.
So I'm just going to pause there again at the graph, which she also showed in the previous video. 4% of BTS, looks like 4% of BTS fans are over 50. Some of you that have responded in the comments have even mentioned that some of you are in your 60s, 70s, even 80s, which is amazing.
Are 40 years old and over. Here's a graph from Reuters, who compiled the web traffic for 2020 Map of the Soul tour tickets. Females ages 25 and up made up 46% of web traffic, while 31% were males. ARMYs hail from different countries, backgrounds, ethnicities, ages, creed, and gender. I think it is important to note that there are passionate fans in almost all disciplines and subcultures, most notably in the sports world. I do often wonder why it's socially acceptable for boys and men to show their undying love and support for something they're fanatic about, yet girls and women are so often belittled for their enthusiasm. To help you visualize, take a look at this graph from Research BTS, showing similarities and differences between sport fans and boy band fans. Also, note that older fans often have more disposable income. That helps them afford the band's merchandise and concert tickets, and creates an advertising market for the products the band promotes to older consumers, including Samsung phones and Hyundai cars. Their dedication, passion, and organization has helped us support BTS through a myriad of paths, enabling BTS and ARMYs to achieve incredible results such as getting BTS's single Dynamite to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and staying in the top spot for 2 consecutive weeks. Only 44 songs in the chart's history have debuted at #1, and only 20 of those songs remained on the top for a second consecutive week. With the success of Dynamite, BTS was recognized by the Recording Academy for their music for the first time, securing them a Grammy nomination for the Best Pop Duo Group Performance. making them the first Korean pop act to ever be nominated under this category. Since then, BTS has achieved 3 #1 debuts on the Billboard Hot 100, with the most recent one being Life Goes On. Unlike their single Dynamite, which was sung in English, Life Goes On was sung in most.
So I just want to stop and just make a comment here. Dynamite was the very first BTS song that I reacted to. So obviously that was their most popular and most westernized song. And that one was sung in English. Now, most of their songs, I imagine, are in Korean. And I think somebody even mentioned to me that they have a few songs in Japanese. So Life Goes On is something another song I should probably react to at some point. So I will take note of that.
Korean. The day Dynamite dropped, it had a total of 1,700 spins on the US radio.
Wow.
While Life Goes On only had 6 total spins on US radio. This made debuting Life Goes On at #1 even more impressive, not only because of language, but because radio airplay accounts for a large portion of the Hot 100 scores. With the release of Life Goes On and the new album B, BTS topped multiple charts on its release week. Each achievement on this non-exhaustive list is remarkable in its own right. But the true marvel of Life Goes On.
So the fact that a Korean language song debuted at #1 is pretty impressive. Wow. With no radio play, I don't know how they accomplished that feat. That's amazing. I also wanted to read down here, they have subverted the Western music industry, whose archaic practices are often rooted in racism and xenophobia. So, I mean, that kind of goes along with everything else that I'm learning about BTS, how they're trying to get positive messages out, not only in their music, but in the charity work that they do as well. So they're trying to turn all of the negative aspects of Western music, trying to turn those around and share a positive and inspirational message with fans.
Is this a largely Korean language song debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with virtually no radio play, no remixes, and no bundles.
That's crazy.
The song's stratospheric debut offers unimpeachable proof of BTS's popularity and the dedication of their fans. Together, they have subverted a Western music industry whose archaic practices are often rooted in racism and xenophobia, and redefined what a Korean pop act can achieve on the US charts.
That's a good quote. Wow, that's amazing.
ARMY has also helped BTS set historical records such as the Beatles' 52-year record, Bee Gees' 42-year record, Michael Jackson's 36-year record, Celine Dion's 24-year record, Adele's 5-year record, and more. BTS has sold out multiple stadiums around the world, including 2 nights at the Wembley Stadium in London, which holds 90,000 people.
Wow, that is crazy.
And the concert sold out in just 90 minutes.
That is unbelievable.
Making BTS the 12th artist to ever sell out the legendary Wembley Stadium. During a time when streaming numbers have increased and traditional album sales have decreased, BTS holds the records for the best-selling physical album of the year and the only act to sell over 500,000 copies in the United States. The album Map of the Soul 7 has sold over 4 million copies worldwide. In 2019, BTS were chosen as endorsement models for Hyundai's Palisade SUV. Hyundai estimated sales to be around 25,000, but had already received 52,000 orders weeks after its announcement, and the numbers kept growing. The demand for the Palisade skyrocketed so rapidly, Hyundai struggled to keep up with demands and was backlogged by 6 to 10 months. In 2020, BTS endorsed luxury massage chair brand Bodyfriend. Their sales increased by 46% from the previous year. In short, ARMY sell out everything the members touch. Unsurprisingly, their purchase power goes beyond BTS merchandise. The fandom once sold out fabric softener and wine.
Wow.
BTS themselves are charitable and are aware of their power and influence. They have been leading by example. ARMYs never straying far from BTS's actions have also taken to show their love and support towards all 7 of the members, but also towards each other and the world around us. While they sell out stadiums and set and break records in the music industry, they've also nurtured a strong and loving community. On Twitter, crops of accounts unusual within a music fandom have been cultivated, such as BTS ARMY Medical Union, an account made by pre-med medical students and health professional fans who sought to make learning about medical science fun and accessible. Accounts like BTS ARMY Bar Association, made up of ARMY lawyers who took on the task to educate the fandom about laws and legal systems.
Wow.
ARMY Academy, account providing free tutoring services and advice for young people who need that type of support. Borahe Entertainment, created for ARMY creative artists and musicians. ARMY Help Center, who seek to provide an open ear for those who might need it for the sake of mental health.
So I'm just going to pause and make a quick comment. I find this is incredible. Actually, this is super interesting that there are a bunch of Twitter, I guess, subgroups is what you would call them, just based off of just BTS ARMY fans. And then you've got different things like offering free tutoring. And I think I found the tutoring particularly interesting because you've got ARMY all around the world who all speak different languages. And I think the tutoring would be especially helpful if you're trying to learn a new language.
Health. They created resources within the fandom to help keep organized and informed. There was even a project called the Purple Ribbon Project to help protect the members from getting mobbed while traveling through airports around the world. The efforts were seen by the band, and one of the members, V, even took pictures with the purple ribbons that were used. Not only do we help each other, but we also try to help the world around us. One of ARMY's main charity fan bases, One in an Army, created in 2018, is a collective that acts as a guide in global fundraising initiatives for fans to donate directly to charities. To give you an idea, here's the One in an Army's charity summary map.
Oh my goodness, it's all over the world.
In 2019, more than 370 plus charity projects were created in different countries under ARMY. In 2020, when BTS's concert was cancelled in South Korea due to COVID-19, fans donated their concert ticket refunds to help with relief and prevention efforts. In June of 2020, moved by BTS's statement and show of support to the Black Lives Matter movement, ARMYs all over the world who had already been donating to BLM causes band together and matched BTS's 1 million donation in just one day.
Just one day, wow.
BTS.
So I knew that the ARMYs matched BTS's donation to $1 million donation to Black Lives Matter, but I didn't know that they matched it in just one day. That's phenomenal. Wow.
Never fails to talk very highly of ARMY, and other artists have also added to the praise.
The BTS ARMY. They're some of the most loyal, positive, and fun fans that you could ever dream of. And I just want to say thank you to all of them. Chimmy Fallon loves you.
The ARMY are great.
They're the most beautiful human beings.
They're so awesome.
That's true.
Also, they're so poorly represented in culture as these like fangirl, crazy, like mindless. And they're the opposite. They're like intelligent, they're funny, they're tasteful, they're
That's
charitable.
true, yes.
Like, they wanted to say thank you to me for something, and they organized something like charitable in my name.
That's awesome.
And they were like, what should we do for Halsey to say thank you? Like, should we stream her song? Should we this? And they're like, nah, she doesn't care about that stuff. Let's donate to a charity in her name. And like organize this whole thing. And then like did this like charitable thing for me. And they were like, this is our way of saying thanks, Halsey. Like, thanks. And I was like,
that's spectacular.
And part of me was like, why isn't everyone's fans doing this? Can you imagine if everyone's fans thanked them by organizing charity in their name?
By helping others?
What a better place this world would be.
That is true,
and I
yes.
think ARMY is just good to people. They see when it's real, and I've been so grateful that effort to just be respectful has been taken in such a beautiful way, because I know that there have been other instances where people haven't been as respectful, which is unfortunate, and it's tough to see that, because you're like,
So what he's saying is that a lot of fans of other groups have been toxic. And I mean, a very small percentage, obviously. Most people are good people, but this is especially true with BTS fans. Just myself, I'm feeling all the love and support. I'm being embraced into the BTS community, the ARMY community, very readily. So I've experienced that myself, exactly what he's talking about.
Like, it's not that hard. Just be conscious of who you're working with and give love to those who deserve it. But I feel very grateful that they've just opened me with welcome arms.
Yes,
it's so good to me. So
I've had that experience too. It's
and
very...
on top of that, they've developed this global army, this BTS army, that is not just like geeked out fans. Like BTS donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter, and the army was like, "Yo, if they can do it, we can do it." And they came like fans who were already coming out of the pocket to support artists. Came out of pocket more to support charity. And this isn't the first time they've done this. This BTS Army charity gives a bunch to philanthropic causes. So as an artist, as a performer, hell man, we have fun. You know, we're doing good stuff. But if we can resonate through the television to you at home, to come out of your pocket to give to a cause, like that's work, man. That's work and that's purpose. And that's changing the world. Like that's impressive. That is impressive.
방탄 팬이나 아미들이 라디오에 노래 좀 틀어달라라고 요청했을 때 오케이, 절대로 그러지 않았습니다. 라고 하는 그 무시와 핍박을 정말 셀 수 없이 당해야만 했었죠. 그런데 팬들은 절대로 거기에 지지 않았습니다. 어떤 무시와 편견이 닥치더라도 끝까지. 왜? 이들의 음악은 정말 훌륭하기 때문에 사람들을 변화시킬 수 있는 힘이 있기 때문에 널리 전파해야만 한다라는 뭔가 역사적 사명 같은 걸 가지고 있었던 거예요.
I hope that this video has given you valuable insight that ARMYs value positivity and kindness while actively fighting against prejudice, just as BTS does. So despite constant pushback from the music industry, the media, and other fandoms often being discredited, bullied, and stereotyped, BTS and ARMY continue to lift each other up. To learn more about BTS, their personalities, and more, please refer to these websites, apps, and ARMY accounts to stay tuned. If you'd like to learn more about them through my videos, check out This is BTS, BTS's contribution to music, and BTS Hardships.
So it looks like X Celeste has a lot of different BTS guides, and I will add those to my list. A lot of you in particular have mentioned the BTS Hardship video, which I am going to get to shortly.
The Purple Hub is also still working on future projects such as a website and more informational videos. Stay tuned.
Okay, so it looks like that's the end of the video. I didn't want to end it too soon. So what I just reacted to was This is BTS ARMY. It's very inspirational. It's very impressive how the BTS ARMY is not only obviously connected to BTS, but they're connected to each other, and that everybody is basically living positive values. They're happy, they're inspirational, they're donating to charitable causes. As I mentioned, or as one of the interviewees had mentioned, and I made a comment as well, that a lot of fan bases have, a very small percentage. I like to believe most people are positive, but a lot of fan bases do have a very small percentage of people that can be toxic, unfortunately. But I have had no such experience with BTS fans, with the ARMY who has embraced me. That video just goes to show why everybody is so great. The first video that I reacted to, This is BTS, just expanded upon some of the knowledge that I already had about BTS and how incredible they were to have overcome hardships and to have risen to stardom. So that was my reaction to This is BTS and This is BTS ARMY. The creator was X Celeste, and I am going to subscribe to her right now. by the looks of it, she's got lots of other BTS guides or videos about BTS, and I'm going to be getting to those shortly, probably in the next few reactions. And that pretty much wraps it up. I just want to thank everybody for recommending these very helpful guides to me as I continue my journey into BTS. And that will pretty much do it for today. But I will be back with more reactions to guides and to music videos. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.